I hope you've enjoyed the vast array that Windsor Boys has to offer, both obviously on the stage and like James mentioned. However, I'm not here to talk about the current boys. In fact, I'm here to talk about our guest of honour, Mr. Ian McCaig. I first met Ian in a bar in London. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there, alright? And I can honestly say he's one of the nicest guys I've met. If any of you boys out there aspire to be businessmen, you know, sod Peter Jones, this is the guy to be, alright? Anyway, just remember this, you're sitting exactly where you were, only about, what, 15 years or so not long. Anyway, as previously mentioned, Ian was a pupil at the school back in the late 1990s. He was an integral part of the boys' school community at his time here, taking part in activities such as rowing, and obviously he was seen at the Henley Royal Regatta. After the boys' school, Ian ended up graduating from Bath University with a degree in business management, a key part in his life as it is today. So anyway, after uni, Ian started off in a branch brand management for a leading FMCG brand, whatever that is. And spent some time in the music industry, working on a range of strategic projects. When Google first came to the UK and opened up its doors, Ian was one of the first to walk through them. In his In his 5 years in Google, Ian led strategic innovation across the whole of Europe. The last time one man tried to do this, World War II broke out. I'm sure Andrew Lane will point you on this, but anyway, my history lacks. Anyway, upon making himself known at Google, Ian believed even this was merely a small milestone in what was to be a good life, and is surely to be continued. He became the co-founder and chief marketing officer at Qubit, in charge of shaping the go-to market across North America and Europe. Leading from the helm, Ian is central to delivering the big thing and getting his hands dirty. This guy seriously takes business to a whole new level. However, despite this, upon reading his biography, it states that he likes to have downtime visiting the world's best music festivals and running ultra marathons. If these are the secrets to success, then Reading Festival fans surely get their money's worth, and it's only a matter of time before Murray Barrow takes on Richard Branson. Anyway, enough rambling on from me. Ladies and gentlemen, if you please, will you give a warm welcome to our guest of honour, Ian McCaig.
Thank you, Tim, for the introduction. That was an excellent setup. And good evening, everybody. It's a real honour to be here this evening. Somewhat of a surreal experience, if I'm honest. Funny thing about all of this, if you'd asked me 15 years ago, when I was sitting where you are today, that it would be me up on stage addressing an audience of successful Windsor boys, close friends and family, I would have probably laughed in my awkward teenage sense of humour and asked you if you wanted to go for a pint of the Panzertart Arms. It's fair to say I've always been a bit of a dreamer, and don't get me wrong, the thought of an opportunity like this would have excited an 18-year-old Ian McCaig. But at the time, I didn't even know what I wanted to do at university, let alone how I'd be able to get here today. I think Mr. Cole, my geography teacher, who I know since left the school, perhaps summed up my dreamer credentials perfectly at my last parents' evening. He told my mother, who was at the school to get an update on both mine and my twin brother's sixth form performance, when he commented with, "You see, Mrs. McCaig, you have 2 very different children, although both delightful in their own ways. One of your sons is going to do a lot better than he thinks he's going to do, or the other thinks he's going to do a lot better than he's actually going to do." Now, no prizes, which kid Mr. Cole thought I was. Fast forward 15 years, and I'm still one of life's big dreamers. I don't believe that will ever change. The difference now, from my last moments at Windsor Boys, are that now I look back and realise what impact this school has had on my life so far, and no doubt will continue to as the next chapters present themselves. I've been told there's just under 1,000 young, talented boys at this school, and each one has the potential to live an amazing life full of excitement, success, and adventure. But it's never going to be plain sailing, and life is not always fair. At some point, you're going to face challenges, sadness, and hardship. No doubt some of you have experienced this already, but it's our ability to overcome these challenges that will shape you as a person. In my first year at Windsor Boys, I lost my dad. I didn't have a lot of the advantages that other kids in my class, or for that matter, kids at other schools had. And it would have been very easy for me to feel held done by or disadvantaged. But it's at these times you decide whether you want to accept this or do something about it. Throughout my life, I've learned how to level the playing field, as there is always going to be people who are smarter, wealthier, funnier, even better at pulling the girls. But there are some principles in life which I now live by that have helped me slay the Goliaths when you were David. How to level the playing field was introduced to me first in my first year at Windsor Boys when I joined the boat club led by Mr. Morrell. I still can't I keep calling him Mr. Morrell, even 15 years old. I never really knew much about rowing until I watched the Barcelona Olympics in 1992. My brother and I would get up at the crack of dawn, watch the GB team, in particular the Searle brothers, who overcame a commanding lead by an unbeaten Italian crew to win gold and surprise the world with one of the biggest upsets in that Olympics. Now it's a shame our English football team couldn't do the same 10 days ago. Knowing that Windsor had a boat club, I was determined to give it a go and see if it could capture the imagination as much as rugby, football and athletics had done in my earlier childhood years. After 3 months, I was hooked, and I soon realised Windsor Boys Boat Club was not your normal club. Firstly, it was very unusual for a non-private school to offer rowing. It was even more unusual that one school had so much domination in the rowing discipline of sculling, given the modest on-off water facilities, although I've seen the gym has improved an enormous amount since I was here, a very short stretch of river, and a relatively small squad number compared to our public school rivals, and other sports being so popular at Windsor Boys. Yet year after year, we produce national champions, GB rowers, and Henley winners from a little tin shed next to the Windsor Leisure Centre. How could this be possible? Not only that, but the school is now is lucky enough to have some of the Windsor Boys alumni in the teaching staff, in the shape of Gareth Ireland, who I know just recently left, James Clark and Mark Wilkinson, to inspire and motivate the next generation of boys to achieve great things. I believe it was Mr. Morrell's ability to level the playing field which has allowed Windsor Boys to punch above its weight, not just in rowing, but all through the school, which, looking back now, has inspired me in pretty much everything I do. For me, and my time at Windsor Boys, 3 big lessons were learned, which I'd like to share with you all today. The first one, and probably the most boring one, is be prepared. Sometimes I look back and think, wow, how lucky I've been since I left school. But there's a fine line between being lucky and being prepared. I'm fortunate enough to run my own company called Qubit, which Tim alluded to in his introduction. Qubit is one of the fastest growing digital technology companies in the UK, helping e-commerce businesses like Topshop, John Lewis, Hilton Hotels and Burton's move into this exciting new digital age. With nearly 100 people working across the UK, France and North America, we are in one of the most exciting industries of our generation, the internet. And I sometimes wonder what sequence of events that led to this fortunate position I'm into today. First of all, I met my business partners at Google, where we spent 5 years seeing the success story of our generation grow from a few thousand Googlers to more than 25,000 when we left. This experience opened our eyes to how a technology company can grow and scale globally with the right vision, company culture, and innovative approach. We would regularly meet in the Google canteen, and over free lunch, we'd discuss business ideas and how we could set up our own company. And in January 2010, we finally unravelled ourselves from the free meals, amazing conferences in exotic places, and inspirational leaders, and we went our own way. We got a lucky break. I got my job at Google because my older brother's friend was one of the first European employees that they were looking for, hungry grads from leading business schools, so he recommended me for the role. After 10 interviews in their Soho Square office, including questions like, if you had a superpower, what would it be? That's a serious question. They gave me a job. I got my lucky break. Now, I got my place at Bath University Business School, which required 2 A's and a B, after being predicted 1 B and 2 C's, which felt like quite a mountain to climb. But I decided to pull my finger out, work hard, and improve my grades so I could get into a top-tier university. I ended up getting 2 A's and a C, which is just short of what I needed. But due to my sporting background and a very sporty admissions tutor at Bath University, they let me on the course. Another lucky break. I suppose what I'm trying to say is you never really know when your lucky breaks might happen in life. And some people will say it's just downright lucky how this all panned out. But I challenge us and say perhaps luck is when good preparation meets good timing. Preparation is about getting involved, not expecting things to come to you. Preparation is about not taking things for granted, about seizing the moment. I remember when we were rowing in the cold winter months, and Mr. Morell would tell us how important these months were for the summer regatta season. In his distinctive deep voice, he would say, "This is where you get your race fitness from, and the edge on your competition." And an amazing quote he always used to quote to us was, "To fail to prepare is to prepare to fail." And this is something that's stayed with me for life. The second lesson I learned at Windsor has to be, and has a big part to play in shaping my journey today, the importance of people around you. Although sports like football, rugby and hockey taught me a lot about how to play in a team, rowing is probably the ultimate sport when it comes to the importance of being a functioning, high-performing team. You see, rowing is a funny sport. You can put 8 of the best rowers in the world together in a boat, and without the correct practice, team spirit and camaraderie, they're very vulnerable. There is a great saying which really epitomises this beautifully. The whole can be greater than the sum of the parts. And Windsor Boys has this in abundance. You just need to look at the school motto, Uno Animo, which is with one mind unanimously, to understand this is the core of everything the school achieves. 4 is a really special number for me. 4 was the number of people in my crew when I rowed for England when I was at school, and later in 2006 when I won Henley Regatta, after not quite achieving my dream at school or at university, but stuck at it while juggling a job at Google, a social life, and 2 training sessions a day. I've run 100-kilometre races against the Gurkha Army, humiliated myself at the annual Google dance competition, and jumped into the world of technology startups, all in teams of 4. I guess 4 is my magic number. People you pick to be your friends, your teammates, your work colleagues, whatever your goals and ambitions in life might be, are really important to your success and will shape you as an individual. My advice to you all is be the person you want to be and surround yourself with other great people. We all have our faults and weaknesses, so find people that fill the gaps and make you a better person. My final lesson I learned is about passion and filling your life with things you love. A study recently published said that we, on average, live for 700,000 hours on this earth. A bit morbid, I know, but hear me out. Of those 700,000 hours, 200,000 hours of those will be sleeping, 75,000 hours working, 200,000 hours waiting around for stuff like the buses, traffic jams, and only 180,000 hours doing things we really like. And unless your plan is to not sleep through life, it's inviting when it comes to work and play, you pick things you really enjoy. I do feel lucky that I love what I do, and my working week is filled with challenges, diversity, and the unknown. For example, this morning I was speaking at Heineken Conference. It's my favourite beer, so I was very happy. Tomorrow I'm hosting an event in Paris, and next week I'm taking my whole team to Henley Regatta for a picnic. Work life is fun. People always say, I sound a bit like Tim, I'm really optimistic, sometimes too optimistic about life. And I'm not so sure it's optimism, but more a passion for life that drives me and pushes me to see the world in a certain way. The reality is we only get one shot on this planet, so we need to live it and love it. Someone who I have a huge amount of admiration for is the late Steve Jobs, who was the creator of Apple and Pixar films. And my respect for him isn't because he built some of the most successful companies in the world, but because he lived his life to the full. He was successful by not conforming to the norm. He was a university dropout. He got fired from Apple, the company he created. He looked at the world differently to normal people. But he loved life, he loved his family, his work, and that's what drove him to be the best. There's a very powerful quote from Steve Jobs, which I'd like to read to you all now. And apologies if you've heard it already. When I was 17, I read a quote that went something like, "If you live each day as if it was your last, someday you'll almost certainly be right." It made an impression on me since then, and for the past 33 years, I've looked in the mirror every morning and asked myself, if today was the last day of my life, would I want to do what I'm about to do today? And whenever the answer to this has been no, for too many days in a row, I know I need to change something. Remembering that I'll be dead soon is the most important tool I've encountered to help me make big choices in life. Because almost everything, all external expectations, all pride, all fear of embarrassment and failure, these things fall away in the face of death, leaving only what's truly important. Remember that you are going to die is the best way I know to avoid the trap that you have something to lose. You're already naked. There is no reason not to follow your heart. Now, I don't know if Steve Jobs knew his time on this world would be cut short when he was younger, but I'm pretty sure he'd be proud about what he achieved in the 56 years he graced this planet. What inspirational people like Steve Jobs, Mr. Morrell, and many others have taught me is do things that make you happy. Happiness breeds success. Passion really does level the playing field. I'm coming to the end of my talk today, and we have some light freshmen ahead of us, I believe. But before I do so, I just want to say a big thank you to the school for all the support and opportunities it's given me all those years ago, and for that I'm eternally grateful. We are all very different people, and this is what makes the world a beautiful place. And what may work for me may not necessarily work for you, and I'm sure we'll all find our successes at different times, in different places, and in our own unique ways. If you can all remember, that preparation is luck in disguise. Find that magic number by surrounding yourself with amazing people. And finally, follow your passions and you'll always be happy. I know you'll all do great things. Remember, the only person that can level the playing field is you. And if you do this to the best of your ability, you can realise your full potential. For me personally, who knows what the next 15 years will hold. In October, I moved to New York to help our US business grow. And with me, I'll take a toolkit of things that I've learned at Windsor Boys, at Bath University, at Google, and everywhere else that I've been lucky enough to work, and experiences that I've shared. We'll all be presented with challenges and opportunities. We'll need to make sure we're equipped to meet these head on. My challenge to you all is to look at this exciting new world we live in and believe that you really can slay the Goliaths. Who would have thought a taxi app called Uber, an accommodation app called Airbnb, a dating app called Tinder, a communication app called WhatsApp would be disrupting whole industries with multi-billion-dollar valuations, and they're less than 5 years old. I think Adidas got it right when they said, impossible is nothing, and I really do believe this. Thank you for your time this evening, and good night.